Hi there, Derek Hagan here. I'm a financial therapist, financial planner, and life coach specializing in meaning in life, mindfulness, and resilience here with another meaningful money memo. Let's get to it. Are you working too much? Silly question, I know. For many people, they say, of course I am. I don't want to work at all. But many of us like our jobs, and many of us feel like we're adding value to society and to the world. And so we find ourselves working a lot. So much to the point where it might become an addiction. Workaholism, work addiction. And work addiction is tough because if you plot all of the things that society disapproves of and track that all the way up to what society approves of, there's various addictions. And you got gambling addiction, for example. Society doesn't like gamblers. Society doesn't like fentanyl addicts, even alcohol addicts. But caffeine, I guess that's kind of okay. I don't really hate it, but I don't celebrate it. But what about way over here? Work addiction. You're such a hard worker. You work so hard. You're always busy. Such a go-getter. People celebrate work addiction, and that makes it tough. It makes it really tough. Because here's the capital T truth of the world. There's only so much you can do with your life. You can sleep. And on average, maybe people are in bed for 8 hours. Maybe you don't get 8 hours of sleep, but maybe you're in bed for 8 hours. Typical workday is 8 hours. That leaves only 8 hours for the rest of your life. And in the rest of that life, in the rest of that piece, that's where you're going to have all your hobbies. That's where you got personal care. That's where you've got exercise. That's where you're eating. That's where you're taking care of your kids. You're playing with your kids. You're getting some rest. You're relaxing. All of that is crammed into the little life portion, which is one thing by itself doesn't mean anything. But what happens if you squeeze that life zone smaller because you wanted to grow the workspace? Now all of a sudden you've got even less room to live your life, which is problematic because the second most common regret people have on their deathbed is that I worked too hard. And at the end of the life, I wish I would have enjoyed my life better, because people can work and they might even become successful. But financial success, financial resources are only one thing. So if I work really hard and I got all the money I ever wanted, all the money I ever could, but say now I don't have enough time or energy left to actually enjoy those financial resources, now I'm in trouble. What's the point? What's the point to have all the money but not have any time or energy left to use it? So workaholism is tough because society approves it, celebrates it, and then it leads to a situation where we might have financial resources without the time or energy left to use it. So if we think about this through the lens of why do we do this? So we've all got these money stories, and these money stories whisper to us. For example, in this case, it might be they're going to think you're lazy. And our money story tells us that. We have a belief that I don't want anybody to call me lazy. And so I think, well, I got work to do. We can investigate our automatic thoughts. We can investigate what's underneath this drive to work. If we investigate, we can understand why. What value, what need are you trying to meet when you have this constant drive to work? What's underneath that? And then you can start to think of how you might diversify your sources of meaning. We all want to live a meaningful life. And when we've got a meaningful life planned, we're trying to find these sources of meaning. And a source of meaning is something that we do to express ourselves, to experience meaning. It's where we go for meaning. It's filling up our buckets of meaning. Workaholism, then, is an over-focus on one of these sources of meaning, namely work. When we focus too much on one source of meaning, it's risky. Because what if something happens that doesn't allow us to express this meaning anymore, this source of meaning? It doesn't even need to be something bad. It could be good, like retirement. What happens if I retire and now I've lost my only source of meaning? So think about why you work so hard. Think about diversifying your sources of meaning, and you'll be on the right track. Hopefully you can get to the end of your life and look back without saying that you worked too hard. You get one life. live intentionally. Greetings, Derek again. Thank you so much for watching. If you want to learn more, please head to meaning.blog, and there you can learn about all things related to money and mindset and purpose and meaning. And you'll be able to find out how we might be able to work together. You'll find more articles. You'll find links to videos. You'll find online courses, all kinds of things to get you going on your journey towards living more intentionally.